we're here. We're debuting a new show, a boxing podcast. We're calling it for now After the Bell Boxing Podcast, and we're going to kick it straight off with the biggest boxing fight you can probably get in 2024, which is Tyson Fury versus Oleksandr Usyk for all the marbles in the heavyweight division. And I want to go to you straight away in the sense of what do you expect in this particular fight?
Listen, man, no more games, no more nonsense, no more running, no more 70-30 nonsense. Just no more. We are finally going to find out what is the truth, who is the best, hopefully on fair grounds. And that is my thing. I just finally want to see Usyk crowned as champion. That's it.
How do you think the fight pans out? Because I think there'll be a lot of people watching this show now, but also just casuals coming into the sport for like bigger fights and stuff. And the fact that they see two heavyweight guys, they're going to assume it's a slugfest. But I don't really see anything like that panning out whatsoever. This seems like it's going to be a tactical fight. You're going to see guys jabbing a lot, slick movement and everything. Talk to me about what you think can happen across the 12 rounds.
I think it's just going to come down to who can implement their game plan more. Obviously, Usyk being a shorter guy, normally that would be an issue. But like I mentioned before, with Steve Cunningham, Fury's also had issues before with people the size of Usyk. Short guys, former cruiserweights, somehow they're able to get to him more. And sometimes it's just a case of, despite being a bigger guy, you don't always come across people that are faster and smaller. So it'll be interesting to see what type of tactic Usyk goes for. But Fury seems to be in shape finally. He's taking it serious. But like I've always said, will the previous sins of how he's carried himself take his toll on his body? And it will be interesting to see if Usyk hasn't overtrained or burned himself out from all the times in camps that he's had to stop because Fury got injured or Fury couldn't fight. Because it's not just February. Let's not forget, it's not just February. It was December as well. So I'm hoping that Usyk's been able to taper down well and can go into that fight as fresh as possible without burning out. But we shall see.
Do you know something that brings me to it? You mentioned about Cunningham and stuff like that. Fury's been knocked down in that fight as well. He then got knocked down against Deontay Wilder over his trilogy, I believe, probably about 4 times. Or 3 or 4 times. And I want to talk about that mental resolute and stuff like that, to be able to get up from the canvas and stuff. As far as my recollection is, Usyk hasn't been dropped, as far as my memory can remember, outside of the Dubois fight, which we'll touch on soon as well. In terms of that being a factor, how important is that for someone like Tyson Fury? Because we always say, we had it in the way, when you get dropped the first time, you might feel it might be a bit different. But for him constantly, someone who has been dropped in previous fights, like, is that going to be a factor for him? Like, will he be able to be like, okay, I can regain myself type of thing, especially with the Wilder fights? So,
if you can take a shot from Wilder and get up, I think, obviously you don't want to get dropped, but I think probably Fury's probably thinking, there's no way I get knocked out. Knocked down maybe, but not knocked out. Because with Wilder, that was a real touch of death type of guy, and he managed to withstand that storm. So will you go in there thinking that Usyk can knock him out clean? Fury's probably thinking, nah, I've been hit with worse. However, he can't get too sloppy because you also don't want to take too many knockdowns in which could be a very pivotal fight, because at the end of the day, knockdowns automatic, 10-8, and then in a match that can be this close, you can't risk that. So it'll be interesting, but I think, like you said, it also goes down to the mental fortitude of knowing that, I've been knocked down before, I can get up again. So I don't think he's probably too worried about getting knocked down, as you don't go into a fight thinking, right, I'm ready to get knocked down, but more of like, if it happens, it happens. I can get out.
And then Usyk, look, we've heard about it, he's a blown-up middleweight, cruiserweight, whatever you want to say about him. Look, Fury talks the talk, but he's also been able to walk the walk in terms of his fights. Same with Usyk. But we did have the weakness that became prevalent in the Dubois fight, where he was hit with the body shot. He was knocked down. Some said it was low, some said it was on the body. AJ has also seen that the body is something that you can get to Oleksandr Usyk. Is
Mhm.
that going to be something that Team Fury is honing in on and thinking, okay, that's something we can look at? Because I'm going to talk about what Usyk and his team can look at in terms of certain weaknesses with Fury. But is that a glaring a weakness of Oleksandr Usyk that it's available there for Tyson Fury?
Oh, for sure. And especially because it's not just a one-off, because it's a thing of that's being identified and then happened in your last fight, I'm sure he has to think to himself, the blood's in the water and everyone's seen this. So now it is a case of, can Usyk find a way to neutralize that? But then also, is there a case of he's got a weak midsection, or you know, did Dubois and AJ really hit him on the low blow? Because I think here's where the issue comes in as well. People think just because it's not in boxing anyway, a low blow isn't just like direct to the groin area. It's just above the groin region as well, like
The
where
belt
the
line.
bladder is. Yeah.
Hmm.
So obviously getting hit there, I don't. If you ever sparred, it hurts. It hurts not as bad, but it still hurts, and it's still considered a low blow. So we will never know if it was genuine or not, or maybe Usyk was just using gamesmanship and buying time in a way that he might not be able to do that with Fury, and he'll go for the midsection in a way that you can't get away with it. So I'm sure if Usyk's team is smart enough, they should know that Furies are up on that game. But it'll be interesting to see. Styles makes fights, and obviously Dubois and AJ are significantly shorter in reach than Fury. And then power generation wise, Fury's not the power punch like them two are to just punch to the body and hurt a man like that. So it's like different factors affect different people. But I'm sure that's in like Fury's mind to go for there. And here's the only thing: if you do come that close, being that tall, you're then in the mid range for Usyk to clip you. And with him being smart and being a southpaw, it'll be interesting to see how he utilizes that.
And look, we've touched on what that potential weakness can be, but I'm going to talk about the glaring thing that delayed the fight the first time round, and that's the cut. Now, I talked to Sugar Hill, and he was saying the cut did nothing. Look, it was a cut. We were able to continue. It didn't stop anything. But how much of that is just, okay, we're going to say the right things versus, okay, that cut can impact you type of thing going forward?
Only they truly know. It might just be a bluff, and then they're absolutely worrying about a cut. But also at the same time, it might just be just that it's a cut. They truly believe that it's a cut. You're not going to be the guy to reopen it. You're not going to be tall enough to reopen it. And for some people, a cut is just superficial. Like, yeah, you got cut, but it's not really damaging to him.
But
Maybe.
in this case, it was damaging because we had a period where this fight had to be postponed for what, 3 months?
Yeah.
So there was that external damage. And if you see it on Fury, when I saw him, it was visible. You can see that.
This comes down to my theory, though. This comes down to my theory. I didn't believe he was ready. And whether that cut was quote unquote man made or whether that cut was genuine, that was the extent of the damage of it, I think, was exaggerated in returns to
the time
that.
frame
That's
and
just
stuff.
me because
Okay.
what 2-3 months for a cut. I've seen more serious injuries get less time, but 2-3 months for a cut, I was just like, I've said it before. That man weren't in shape. There was obviously the rumor mill that was going on of that cruiserweight champion that was in his camp that dropped him. That same cruiserweight champion, some reason, had to leave their camp and was sent back home. It points to me that he wasn't in shape. That's all I'm saying.
He looks in shape now. We've seen
Oh,
the
for
pictures
sure.
come out because we're in fight week. I want to just touch on one thing before we talk about certain persons' antics and stuff. And I don't get why they're doing it. That's the gas tank. The reason I bring up the gas tank is, look, Fury's gone 12 rounds quite a few times. But for me, the most impressive thing I see is Oleksandr Usyk's gas tank. In terms of when he fought AJ, the championship rounds
Oh,
11,
that was
12,
scary.
in when he was in a position to potentially lose the fight, he came on strong. He gets hit with a knockdown with Dubois. Instead of cowering back, comes on strong again. When you're looking at someone like Oleksandr Usyk, and you're like, how do you stop his gas tank then if, in terms of Team Fury? And is it possible that they might be looking to put on the pressure earlier on to then avoid that particular problem going forward?
They are absolutely going to try and lean on him for all the small man antics, burn up middleweight, all of this stuff. Don't think that they're dumb and underestimating him. They're definitely going to try and lean on him and then just try and make him carry Fury's weight and energy, which ironically, even though it wasn't the best representation of him, we saw in the Ngannou fight when Fury was trying to lean on Ngannou, but that guy's just a solid, so you can't play those tactics. With Usyk, we got to wait and see what weight he comes in, because he might come in a heavy enough weight where it's just like you can't play them tactics. At the same time, Usyk's always been smart enough in putting on weight in a smart way. He's never like done too much, so it'll be interesting. But definitely, maybe those body shots will come, into practice with Fury trying to throw the body shots at Usyk, just trying to, lower that gas tank. But like you said, with a guy that's coming up from cruiserweight and has put on weight, a healthy weight at heavyweight, I don't see it being. I don't know how Fury will find a way to stop him.
And look, we're in fight week. We've already seen the antics of John Fury, so I just want to ask you, like, we've seen the picture of him with the headbutt, the bleeding, and stuff like that. What type of shenanigans do you expect us to see from now until, I would say, weigh-in day on Fridays?
That's the type of thing that they're used to, the whole like shenanigans. Do you know what I honestly feel like?
I like it.
I don't like it, but it all depends on what His Excellency will deem. What's the word I'm looking for?
Acceptable.
Yeah, because if His Excellency starts seeing certain conduct, he might say, "Listen, enough is enough. Don't bring that stupidity here," and they will behave. But John Fury, I get what he's doing. Do you know what it is? In his mind, I think he's stuck in the 80s and 90s way of like, when they just used to drum up drama for any reason to get people interested, but he doesn't realize this isn't the way to do it no more. No one cares. Like, I don't think he's getting more pay-per-view buyers by these antics. I don't think he's getting the event more positive attention. Because from what I've seen on social reactions, it's just like, what is this idiot doing? Like, can't he ever just like
let his son be his son and just do the fight?
It's not even your son. Like, you can be you. I don't mind it, but the whole like headbutting thing was just so unnecessary. And please, I've had enough people saying Fury's team's mind games. Usyk does not care about this stuff. He doesn't. He honestly doesn't care about this stuff. And it's just John being John, but it's just like, stop being an idiot.
Look, whoever comes out the victor on Saturday night, Sunday morning, whatever you want to say, because this is going to be a super late night. I think we might get the fight starting at midnight type of thing, because the Saudis, it's like we say about Americans that love to cater to the American audience. The Saudis love to cater to everybody but the Saudi audience.
Yeah,
they start them fights super late over there. But in terms of what is on the line, we said it at the start of the show, but where does it put either fighter in terms of when they come out the victor?
Usyk will always be the higher guy, only because he done it at cruiserweight. He was in undisputed at cruiserweight as well, so it will have more credence to like what Evander Holyfield was unable to do and put him much higher. With Fury, we'll put him high. This heavyweight era was good but not great overall. Like, there's a number of challenges where it was like great. It was good but not great. So we'll put him into this game.
I'll get you this then. Let's say, for example, he wins here, and then he goes and fights AJ at any point between now to end of 2025. Does that change your opinion if Usyk goes in with belts, undefeated, and then can finish AJ as well?
That's why I'm saying for Usyk now, it would mean more, because it's like, if you beat AJ and Fury in the bounce, you are literally the guy. Fury, I think if he was to beat AJ after, He would, but you know my stance on it. None of these guys are going to be ranked above Lennox Lewis. So, and depending where you rank Lennox Lewis against all the top heavyweights, because I'm not going to be one of these guys that begs it and acts like, oh, you know, Sonny Liston, Muhammad Ali, and all this. I didn't watch these guys. So I'm not going to act like I ranked them at the highest in regards to my personal favorite heavyweights. My favorite heavyweight is Lennox Lewis, because for me, the talent that he beat, how he beat topping off with being undisputed and being the next generation and a Klitschko, I just wouldn't rank Fury above Lennox Lewis. I just can't, especially the way that both of these guys have garnered their careers. With Lennox Lewis, he's got a legacy which I think is severely underrated because of how his demeanor is. And for me, I just can't put Fury above that. But he'll be mentioned with greats. He'll be put in a place where you can argue his place if he was to do that all.
Okay.
You can't deny him in that argument if he gets brought up.
And just one final thing that we'll both say it. Your prediction of how you feel from round 1 to round 12, this fight goes for Usyk, because I'm guessing you're picking Usyk.
Usyk by decision or corner stoppage.
I hear it. I'm taking Fury, and I've said it. I think what you're going to get is a tactical couple of rounds that I think Fury will win. I think Usyk may take some more of the middle rounds, and then that's when they're going to tell Fury, listen, get on him, hit the game plan, and I think we're going to get delayed stoppage between rounds 10 to 12. With that, we're going to get a sing-song. I think somehow in Riyadh at 4 a.m. in the morning, whatever time it will be, Fury is going to get a little sing-song going, and Excellency is going to be looking like, His Excellency will look like, what have I brought into this country?
Listen, the only sing-song is going to be from Usyk trying to get the crowd to say a song that he doesn't even know, that they don't even know in their language, but we're all going to enjoy it anyway. The same way Usyk beat AJ in Riyadh, it's going to be a repeat. There's going to be a break. Yeah, there might be a breakdown from Fury, but either way, Usyk is number one, and we are all going to be very, very feel. Very.
I feel that. I remember that quote. But guys, we're going to wrap up the debut pilot episode of this boxing podcast. If you like it, let us know below. We're going to try to do this as much as we can on a weekly basis, frequent basis, especially when the bigger fights are coming up. We'll recap this particular fight. And yeah, as boxing fans, if you're locked in and you're watching this as well, just know that the schedule is continuously getting better. And if you guys are just straight MMA fans, trust me when I tell you, boxing's never been better as it is right now. Ray, can you test that as well?
Absolutely. What you said was like spot on. Like, even if you're not the biggest boxing fan, the fights we cover, tune in.
And with that, guys, like, share, subscribe. Till next time, peace.